Welcome back, friends. This video is a quick guide on setting up your project profile and your latte factor. So you're got to begin with your job. In this exercise, you have to pick the occupation that you're working toward. If you're in a vocational program for auto mechanic or carpentry or HVAC, if you're going for cosmetology, if you're planning to go to college because you want to be a paralegal, whatever it is, whatever job it is you're working towards now or you want to pursue, you need to use that for this project. So I'm going to use auto mechanic. The first thing you do after you spell check is put in the occupation you're looking for, and then click this entry level annual salary. And this is going to take you to Salary Finder. As I stated previously, you can create this project to live in whatever state you want, any of the continental 48. So I'm going to put in auto mechanic, and I'm going to put in New Jersey. Since that's where we are, I'll stick to what I know. Automotive service technicians and mechanics, it's going to give you a whole bunch of choices. Maybe you really would rather do installation. Maybe you want to do glass. Maybe you want to do auto body. I'm going to stick with the mechanic. I'm going to click this. And it's going to give me the average salary currently. The blue is nationwide average. The red, and you'll notice it's higher, and in a lot of instances, the state pays more, especially in New Jersey. The red is the averages in New Jersey. So because we're talking entry level, we're going to cut you a break. I don't want you to start with just the low number. You're going to take the low number, which is here, and the medium number, which is here, in the red, and you're going to average them. To average them, you have to add them together. So $54,080 plus $31,500 is a total of $85,580. And then to get the average, you divide them by 2. So divide that by 2, and your salary is $42,790. So now you're going to go back to your profile sheet, and you're going to put that salary in. $42,790. Don't worry about the highlighting. You can highlight it if you want. I don't care. As long as you have the right number. I don't care if it's highlighted or not. But if it makes you feel better, highlight it. Okay. Now we have to follow the formula. And I gave you these formulas when we worked out gross and net in our hacks book. So now we have a salary. Let's figure everything out. To calculate your take-home pay, you're going to be paid every other week, which is biweekly. That means you have to take this number and split it across 26 paychecks. How did I get that number, you ask? Easy. There are 52 weeks in the year. If you're getting paid every other week, you take 52 and divide it by 2, and you get 26. So the first formula is your gross income per paycheck, which is taking your salary, which in this case is $42,790, and dividing it by 26, which is the number of paychecks. So $42,790 divided by 26 is $1,645 and change. I'm going to round it up to $1,646. I highly recommend you just round it up, get a whole dollar amount. It's much easier. So that's your gross. That is the total. But remember, you have to pay taxes. We're going to take out a retirement plan, and we're going to take out health benefits. So now I have this 1646, and I need to multiply it by 0.65 because you're only going to take home about 65% of your check. Now, when you're making this smaller amount of money, it'll probably be more like 0.70, like you'll probably take home 70%. But quite honestly, retirement plans should be invested in, and health benefits can be expensive. Even if your employer is picking up some of it, it doesn't mean they're picking up all of it. So if we take 1646 and we multiply it by 0.65, our total is 1,000. $1,069.90. So 1,070. So we'll do 1070. And again, I don't care if it's underlined or bold. I'll make it look nice so that you guys are like, oh, I feel better now. So 1070, that is your net. That's what actually comes in your paycheck. Now, this is the part that screwed a lot of people up. What you have to figure out is how much money you have to spend each month. So if you're getting paid every other week, 10 out of the 12 months, you're going to get paid twice a month. So most of the year, you get 2 paychecks a month. So your average monthly income is this number, 1070, times 2. Very simple, which is $2,140. $2,140. And again, I don't care about the format, but I know for some of you it freaks you out, so I will fix it. I don't care as long as the numbers are right. So now you know how much you have to spend. So essentially, $2,140, this is how much you have to spend every month. So as you put your expenses in and you think about what are the things that you're going to need to spend money on, keep in mind you're going to have to limit to what you have. All right, so that's the first part. That's 1 through 5. Now we come down to 6. What are some recurring expenses each month? So I want you to think in terms of what are the things you need to pay for each month or are willing to pay for each month that are what we call recurring expenses, or expenses that come in for the same day every month. I am giving you car insurance. I looked up what the average car insurance is for a young person. I divided it by 12. You don't always pay car insurance every month, but for this project we are. And you're going to have renter's insurance, because in order to rent a property, most places require you to have renter's insurance. It is important to have anyway, because the landlord's insurance only covers the building. Anything that's in it that's yours is not covered by their insurance. You need to have your own policy. Okay, in addition to that, what are some things we need? Well, we're definitely going to need utilities, right? For now, you can leave that amount blank. In class, I'm going to give you specific breakouts of electric, gas, and water, but utilities would cover those things. So just put it there as a placeholder. But what are some other things? Maybe you want to have Netflix. I don't know at the moment how much regular Netflix is, but it's somewhere around $9. So I'm going to put in $9. You need to look it up. But for this sample, I'm just showing you where to put it. If I'm going to have Netflix, I need internet. And quite honestly, if you want to do any of the things, you probably need internet. Just having your phone isn't really going to be enough. So internet. Do I need to have cable TV and cable internet? No. You can just get internet from probably 2 or 3 different providers. But if you want, instead of a streaming service, you want cable, then you're going to have to look that price up. So we're going to say I looked this price up, and just to have internet, it's about $105 a month. Oops. What else am I going to need? I want a gym membership, because it's important to me to stay healthy, and I like to go to the gym 3 or 4 times a week. And if I go to Planet Fitness, it's $10 a month. Okay. I want to have, what else? Let's see. What else do we need here? I'm going to food shop, right? That's one of our exercises. I need food. I need to feed myself. So I'm going to say, let's say I'm going to budget $100 a week, but for a monthly number, I need to multiply it by 4 weeks. We're going to go with the premise that a month is 4 weeks. So that's $400. Oh, and by the way, I need to pay rent. If I have renter's insurance, that means I'm renting. Now, you already looked for an apartment, or you're going to look for an apartment. So once you have your apartment, you need to calculate what your share of the rent is. If you have a roommate, you split it in half. If you have 2 roommates, you split it by thirds. So let's say my rent is $750. And so on and so forth. So I'm not going to do a whole list. You enter all the things that matter to you. You have a car, you got to put gas in it. Figure out about how much it would cost to fill your tank every week and multiply it by 4. And that gives you that number. But anything you want to have, and you're okay, a cell phone, for instance. Most of you already have a cell phone, so you're going to have to pay for that cell phone. You need to look up what a plan by yourself or unlimited or whatever it is you want, how much that costs. So that's number 6. Once you have a pretty good list here and you really think through all of your monthly expenses, you're going to go down here and you're going to revisit your latte factors. And you have to come up with a per week cost, right? A per week cost that you can convert to a yearly cost. So let's say coffee. I stop at Wawa every week, at least 4 or 5 times a week during the week while I'm working. Let's say it costs me $5 times 5 days a week is $25. So let's say my coffee expense is $25. And that's for 5 times a week. That's how often I go. So 25 times 52, because there are 52 weeks in the year, is $1,300. That's a lot of money. Let's just say that is my only latte factor. So my total annual latte factor is $1,300. The last thing I want you to do, once you figure out your latte things, and remember, these are habits. These aren't putting gas in your car. These aren't buying groceries. This is stopping at Wawa for lunch 3 times a week because you don't want to pack it. This is grabbing coffee on your way in. These are those little things that we do habitually, like all the time, without thinking about them. They aren't really part of how we live in our place. They are more habits we do that cost us money. Okay. So in order to get this, I'm going to use the latte. I'm not going to use this latte factor calculator because it's blocked for you guys. Instead, I'm going to go back to the bulletin board to Tuesday, December 12th, and I'm going to use this link instead. Now, here's how this calculator works. You're going to pick the dollar amount. Now, if I'm spending it weekly, I suggest you take this weekly amount of $25 and put it here, 25. How often do I spend that? Every 1 week. Every week I spend $25 on coffee. So you're going to factor this at 10% and 10 years for the first number. So let's say every week, this money, if I put it in an account every week, $25, that's $100 a month. Every week it gains 10% interest. Over 10 years, click calculate. Total dollars that I put in over 10 years is $13,000. The interest alone is $9,000. That means the real savings would be total $22,191.54. So you're going to copy this number, copy, go back here, and your 10 years savings is $22,000. Now let's revisit that. Let's go back to the latte calculator. And the only thing we're going to change is this number here. So instead of 10 years, put in 40 years. You guys are young. You're going to work for a long time. Hopefully it's something you enjoy and love. Click calculate again. And now look at it. That $25 every week for 40 years alone is almost $750,000. 685,000 plus. So again, I'm going to copy this number. I'm going to go back here, right click, paste without formatting, done. That's a lot of money. That coffee can save you a lot of money. That's how you fill out this sheet. That is a good working sample. If you have questions, as always, you can email it to me. You can ask me in class, send me a remind, and I'll try to help you as best as I can. But for now, this is how you fill out that sheet. I'll see you in class.